Good morning. Wish you happy Engineers Day. So good morning. This is with respect to videos, like previous videos, no recordings, ownership has been given to so many other students. I don't know. There is a problem in the meet recording actually. So even though I am the host, the recorded video will ownership will go to someone else. So I will ping you. Even last video's dates I will see and I will try to ping you guys. So whoever is the owner, no, I will message in the individually or in the group. Kindly, you just transfer it. Transfer means you click that video, download it, and share it to me, so that then only I could able to upload it in Google Classroom. Okay, because I am unable to download the drive. Just used to post the PPTs, but the recorded videos also we are supposed to post it. So immediately it won't, even though it will be recording, like it will take some time to upload to a Google Drive. Okay, if I check in my Google Drive for downloading, I'm facing some problem, and I verified and I checked what is the problem. It is showing that the ownership has been given to someone else. That's the reason I could not able to download the videos. Okay, whatever the class recordings now, every each class I will be recording the video. In one or two class I have missed earlier by mistake actually. Okay, no issues, but I'll ping you. You do one thing, don't chat in the like group, because it will be disturbing to everybody. If I ping, the reason is I won't be having your number. That is the reason in group I will message. I mean, I don't have your phone numbers, right? Only that's the case. So you ping me later individually, okay, separately, and if you have any problem, you ask me. Fine. I'll start with the virtualization topic. Yesterday we have seen what is virtualization, what are the characteristics of virtualization, and the different types of virtualization. Okay, process can be virtualized or system can be virtualized as well, right? So under system virtualization there are different types, and process virtualization there are different types. Okay, and we have looked into the architecture also, virtualized architecture, what are the components. Okay, so you will, a quadrant can be virtualized, system hardware can be virtualized, software can be virtualized, platform can be virtualized. Okay, your storage can also be virtualized, and your services can also be virtualized, right? So you have the underlying hardware on top of that platform, on top of like platform is in line with the platform, you will be having a virtualized layer. So each layer is going to have its virtualized machine monitor, which is going to control the activities of resources sharing, resources utilization, monitoring. Okay, so to the above the upper layer, that is the platform layer. Okay, above the platform layer, you will be having the topmost layer is the service layer. Okay, so different applications will be running, that we are going to call it as a guest operating system, right? So each guest is going to have its own independent task, and these tasks will be performing simultaneously, that is parallel. Okay, because of this virtualized concept, it is going to increase the speed. Okay, performance wise it's very good. Okay, and resources cannot be leave idle. Okay, we will be utilizing the fullest extent. The usage of resources will be 24/7, we can say, in case if you try to work on, or if you try to like control all these. Fine, so you can make your system to work on for 24/7. And also power consumption, that is also very very important criteria. And greening initiative is because multiple tasks are processing or performing the activities parallelly. Because of that reason, so you will be having saving the power, actually energy utilization or the cost saving. Okay, so I'll be continuing from the previous topic. See, most of the videos now I was trying to download, but I couldn't. Okay, I thought let me share the PPT, but right now even videos needs to be shared in the Google GCR Classroom. So please, I'll ping you guys, whoever is the owner. you just try to download that video on that particular date. You go and see a recorded video, even though you are not hosted. Somebody has messaged me saying that I am not the host, ma'am. I mean, I have not received any, I have not recorded. You are not going to record, I know that, but I don't know, some software problem. So it's happening with in other subject teachers also, right? So moving on to the execution virtualization. Okay, we stopped till here, no, taxonomy of virtualization, right? So virtualization, you have execution environment virtualization, storage virtualization, network virtualization, and so on, right? Under execution environment, you will be having two classifications or varieties. One is process level virtualization, other one is system level virtualization. Okay, when we talk about process level virtualization, process means what? The task which is under running, right, or in the execution mode, right? So emulation, high level virtual machine, and multi-programming. These are the classifications under process level. Okay, the techniques used for process level execution is either through emulators, okay, which will mimic the process as it is a real-time process. Then high-level virtual machine is other technique using high-level virtual machines. Then multi-programming. Okay, you can do multi-programming concept so that you can exploit parallel multi-programming concept, actually, like parallel processing. Okay, so that you cannot leave your machine to be idle. Your computation engine won't be idle if you are going to occupy the work through a multi-programming concept. Okay, that is the technique. Moving on to the virtualization model. So emulator talks about applications. Okay, high level virtual machine monitor, where you can do your own programming language. Using your own programming language, you can make your virtual machines to perform the process. Okay, then operating system level multi-programming. So multi-programming is like you need to have a parallel supporting parallel course has to perform the functionalities, or your like thread level. If you exploit thread level parallelism, how it is going to be done, all these is going to be performing during the operating system level itself. Okay, moving on to the system level. So under system level, we have hardware assisted virtualization, full virtualization, para virtualization, and partial virtualization. Okay, so there are totally 4 classifications under system level virtualization. Okay, we have hardware assisted virtualization, full virtualization, para virtualization, and partial virtualization. Okay, so we will look into each virtualization concepts in detail in the coming topics. Okay, so system level virtualization, the virtualization model is hardware. So system level, we talks about, when we talk about system level, it's a hardware level virtualization, actually. Okay, this we are going to study in detail about all these remaining topics in the virtualization example. Okay, so the first virtualization concept is like execution virtualization. Okay, execution virtualization, you should know the definition. What is the meaning of execution virtualization? So here it defines the interfaces between the levels of abstractions. Okay, the interfaces between the levels of abstractions which hide implementation details. Okay, what are these execution virtualization? Execution virtualization, which is going to define interfaces between the levels of abstractions which hide implementation details. You know, the abstraction layer is nothing but, abstraction is whatever is needed from the front end side, only the like information which can be extracted. Okay, what is happening at the interface level, no need to know by the user. Okay, so virtualization is going to happen in the abstraction layer itself. Okay, so interfaces between the levels of abstraction. What are the interfaces? User interface. Okay, so if the system wants to communicate with multiple resources or multiple tasks has to perform, there should be a interface between the our service engine, that is the front end, right, and the operating system and the underlying hardware. Okay, but these implementation details will be hidden. Okay, so during runtime, the process is going to perform its operation. Okay, from the user side, I will be looking only from the service. Okay, then virtualization techniques actually replace one of the layers. Okay, so and intercept the calls that are directed towards it. So what it does is, it replaces any one of the layer, actually replaces the layer. Like we have a platform layer, right? Hardware layer, platform layer, service layer. So in the platform layer only, we will be having your virtualized network, okay, or virtualization, virtualized machine monitor, okay, which is going to be called as a VMM or a hypervisor. Okay, hypervisor is the one which is going to monitor the functionalities. Okay, on top of this virtualized network, you will be having a guest operating system, right? So guest operating system is nothing but different independent operating systems functioning its own task. Okay, so this is going to replace one of the layer and intercept the calls that are directed towards it. Okay, so this is the example for machine reference model. So if you see the example, so you will be having the hardware layer talks about instruction set architecture. Okay, ISA, whether it is 64-bit or 32-bit. Okay, so instruction set architecture talks about read, write, those hardware related information. Okay, hardware is expressed in terms of ISA, instruction set architecture. Okay, ISA for processor, register memory, and the interrupt management. Okay, how the interrupts are going to be managed. Okay, so instruction set architecture for different processors, registers, okay, memory, and the interrupt management. This is all put together is going to be underlying in the abstracting in the hardware layer itself. Here, the bottommost layer. Okay, so on top of this, there will be a dotted line which shows about ISA. ISA stands for instruction set architecture. Okay, so ISA for processor, ISA for registers, memory, and interrupt management. Okay, so here this above this hardware you will be having intermediate layer, that is nothing but your operating system layer. Okay, what this OS layer does is application binary interface, ABI. ABI stands for application binary interface, which separates the OS layer from the application. It's this OS layer, this is the partition, right, which separates the OS layer from the application and libraries which are managed by the OS. Okay, which is going to be separating. See, this application is the topmost layer, right? So this application layer is going to be interacting with a libraries, right? Different library sets, right? So this ABI separates OS from libraries and the application. Okay, and then system calls defined allows probabilities of applications and libraries across operating system. Application programming interface, it is API stands for application programming interface. Okay, so like whenever any application wants to use any library or any functions or packages, it has to interact with the particular library, right? So that is going to be done through a API, application programming interface. Okay, so you should remember the virtualized machine reference model comprises of hardware, OS. This basic concepts remain same: hardware, OS, and application. Okay, but when you virtualized it, how the abstraction takes place is ISA is one layer which separates hardware from OS. ABI is application binary interface which separates libraries applications from OS, and API which separates applications from libraries. Okay, so this is the reference model. Okay, so it looks like this actually: hardware, ISA instruction set, okay, operating system. So like libraries or services, that is from the front end, you will be raising a system call. Okay, so it invokes the instruction set architecture, and it invokes in terms to hardware layer, okay, where computation or storage, okay, or connecting to network is going to happen in this. Okay, so this is the functionality actually. Okay, and user ISA, that is user instruction set architecture, so which interacts directly from libraries to hardware and from applications to hardware directly. Okay, this is the machine reference model for your virtualization. Okay, so here you should know what is the functionality of an ISA and what are the main issues or the parameters you need to consider under ISA as well as under API, application programming interface. Okay, so API, it interfaces applications to libraries and or underlying OS. Okay, it interface applications to libraries. API provides an layer interface between the libraries and the OS. Okay, and layered approach simplifies the development and implementation of computing system. Why layered approach is like it is like a stack, right? Your OS a reference model. The similar concept only here also, like it is layered approach helps and simplifies the development and implementation of computation system. Okay, so mainly ISA is being divided into two security classes: privileged instructions and non-privileged instructions. Okay, instruction set architecture is going to have its privileged and non-privileged instructions. Okay, if you talk about privileged instruction set, so with respect to user authentication. Okay, so if you have if you have authenticity, then only you could able to use these instructions. Okay, it's going to ask for your user ID and password to extract this, or there should be some controlling mechanism. Okay, in non-privileged instructions, these kind of instructions can be used by any of the process or any of the application engine. Okay, those are non-privileged instruction. Privileged instruction is only authorized user applications can use these instructions. Moving on to the security classes again. Under non-privileged instructions, these can be used without interfering with other tasks. Okay, non-privileged. There won't be any interference in fact. Okay, and do not access shared resources. Okay, example, arithmetic operations, floating point and fixed point. Okay, arithmetic, floating and fixed point operations are non-privileged instructions. Okay, at any time, without any interference, you can use these operations or functionalities. Okay, there won't be any shared resources in fact. Okay, so yeah, privileged instruction, as the name says, there will be a restrictions which is going to be posing on these instructions to use. Okay, so specific restrictions and sensitive, it performs sensitive operations. Okay, and privileged instructions that are executed under specific restrictions. Okay, and are mostly used for sensitive operations. Okay, which expose behavior sensitive or modify control sensitive the privileged state. Okay, so behavior sensitive and control sensitive. Under behavior sensitive, operate on input output. Control sensitive, alter the state of the CPU register. Okay, so behavior sensitive and control sensitive. Behavior sensitive is operate on input output. Control sensitive, after the state of the CPU register. Okay, so once the control has gone to the register, that is fetching the instruction, read or write operation, whatever it has to do. Okay, then onwards, how to control is going to be done by the control sensitive. Okay, behavior sensitive is whenever you input the instructions or whenever you input or key. Okay, key into the instruction set, if you input something, the behavior is going to change. Okay, those are going to be called as privileged instructions. Only authorized users or authorized instructions processors can exploit these operations. Okay, those are operated under specific restrictions and sensitive operations: behavior sensitive and control sensitive. Okay, so moving on to the hierarchy, privileged hierarchy. So you will be having, it has been depicted in the form of a ring diagram, actually, security ring. Okay, so ring 0, ring 1, ring 2 and ring 3. Okay, so what inside the most innermost layer of this particular circle or the ring talks about is ring 0 is in the most privileged level used by the kernel. More sensitive instructions. Okay, more the instructions which are going to affect very largely for the behavioral aspect or sensitive operations is going to be in the innermost circle. That is nothing but your ring 0, ring architecture. Okay, ring security ring, it is ring 0. Okay, then the other one is just a minute. Hello, ma'am class ಅಲ್ಲಿ ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yeah. ಏನಾದರೂ ಡಾಕ್ಯುಮೆಂಟ್ ತರಬೇಕಾ ಮ್ಯಾಮ್? Yes, ma'am. ಆಯ್ತು. Yeah. Thank you, ma'am. Okay. So moving on to ring 0 is in most privileged level used by the kernel. Ring 1 and 2 used by OS level services. Ring 1 and 2 here. Ring 1 and ring 2, which talks about OS level services. Okay, so operating system level, fine. And ring 3, ring 3 in the least privileged level used by the user. Ring 3 is used by the least privileged level used by the user. So anybody can access these instructions. We have defined like arithmetic operations, floating point operations. These are all under this layer, ring 3. Okay. So recent system support two levels, that is ring 0 and ring 3. Ring 0 is supervisor mode and ring 3 is user mode. This is user mode and this ring 0 is supervised mode. Supervised mode is nothing but there will be a controlling aspect. We need to take care of these instruction set. Okay, supervised mode. And this ring 3 talks about user mode. Okay, any of the user could able to use this with instructions. Okay, so moving on to the hardware level virtualization. So hardware level virtualization, it's a virtualization technique that provides an abstract execution environment in terms of computer hardware on top of which a guest OS can be run. So here in the hardware level virtualization, abstract execution environment itself is going to be abstract, like hidden. How these interfaces is going to happen, okay, in terms of running the machines of guest operating system, how it uses the underlying resources, storage. Okay, all these are going to be hidden or abstracted. Okay, it's a virtualization technique that provides an abstract execution environment in terms of computer hardware on top of which a guest operating system can be run. Okay, it is also called as system virtualization. It's also going to be called as system virtualization. Hardware level virtualization is also called as system virtualization. So under this hardware level virtualization, so if you see the diagram, this is the host. Okay, host. On top of this host, you will be having the virtual machine monitor. Virtual machine monitor is nothing but an hypervisor, okay, or which controls the functionalities. Okay, so VMware. Okay, so here you are going to have a binary translation instruction mapping interpretation. Binary translation instruction mapping interpretation. This is the virtual machine. This one is the virtual machine. Host emulation. Okay, on top of this you will be having a guest, in-memory representation, virtual machine and storage. Okay, storage, virtual image, guest, in-memory representation, host emulation, VMware, virtual machine and host. These are the components of hardware level virtualization. You need to remember the bottommost layer is the host. Okay, what is host? Host is the one who is going to provide the resources, right? Maybe hardware, storage, network, all these is going to be managed by the host. Okay, so on top of this host, you will be having a virtualized machine. So here, if you see this block which talks about virtual machine. Okay, so this virtual machine is going to host different guest operations or guest work, okay, services. Fine. So here this virtual machine is going to have its host emulation. Emulation is nothing but mimicking the process as if it is a regular process itself. Okay, host emulation. On top of this, we will be having a guest, which is going to control different guest OS with its own applications. That's why there are multiple arrows here. Okay, so the in-memory representation and host emulation, these are the components. Fine. So this VM virtual machine is going to be monitored by using a virtual machine monitor. What it does, it acts as a supervisor, okay, or it acts as a controller, okay, resource controlling and monitoring. All these is going to be done by the VMware. Okay, so you will be having a binary translation instruction mapping interpretation here. Fine. So on top of this layer, you have a storage media. Fine. Then virtual image, storage and virtual image. This is the guest in memory representation, hardware level virtualization. Hypervisor. So if you talk about hypervisor, hypervisor runs above the supervisor mode. Okay, a hypervisor which is going to runs above the supervisor mode. Okay, it runs in supervisor mode. It creates a hardware environment. It is a piece of software. Hypervisor is a piece of software which enables to run one or more VMs on a physical server. Okay, what hypervisor does? It is running in a supervisor mode. What is supervisor mode? In the, if you see the, remember the ring, the innermost layer, right? Instruction set, which is very trivialized one, that is going to be residing in the innermost ring, right? Ring 0, which is very much close to a kernel operation. Okay, so it runs in supervisor mode. Okay, it recreates hardware environment. As I told you, like recreation is nothing but guest and host. It is a virtualized environment, right? It recreates a hardware environment. Okay, it is a piece of software that enables us to run one or more VMs on a physical server or host. Okay, so there are two major types of hypervisor, type 1 and type 2. Hypervisor runs above the supervisor mode, that you should remember. Okay, it is running in the supervisor mode. Type 1 and type 2 are the two major types of hypervisor. We will see what are these type 1 and type 2 also. Okay, you should know the difference between type 1 and type 2 hypervisor. See here in type 1 hypervisor, it runs directly on top of the hardware. Okay, it is running directly on top of the hardware. Okay, takes place of operating system, which directly interacts with the ISA. Type 1 is directly interacting with instruction set architecture exposed by the underlying hardware. Okay, if you see the diagram, you will be knowing this is an hardware layer, this is a VMM, and these are different VMs. What is the difference between VMM and VM? VMM is a controller, VM is an applications. 4 applications in this diagram actually. 4 different virtual machines are functioning on its own application, which interacts with the virtual machine manager. This manager is going to control the activities of all these VMs, which acts as a hypervisor. Okay, and beneath that you will be having a hardware layer. Okay, so you have a dotted line or a partition. This also uses the instruction set architecture, and here also. Okay, directly interacted with ISA exposed by the underlying hardware. It is a type 1 hypervisor is also called as native virtual machine. In native virtual machine, type 1 hypervisor. In type 2 hypervisor, it requires the support of an operating system to provide virtualization services. Okay, type 2 hypervisor requires the support of an operating system provide virtualization. So you should know the difference between the previous diagram and this diagram. You have one more layer called operating system layer, right? So you have hardware layer, you have virtual machine manager, you have different virtual machines, right? So that is the architecture of type 1. When you move on to type 2, there is one more in like a layer which has been introduced, that is your operating system layer. Okay, ABI. What is ABI? Binary interface, application binary interface is came into picture here. So you have a hardware layer. On top of that, your instruction sets are directly accessing these hardware component or resources. Above that, you will have an operating system. Operating system to interact with VMM, you will be having application binary interfaces. Okay, so on top of that, you will be having ISA, instruction set architecture. Okay, so different virtual machines are going to run on this. Okay, it requires the support of an OS to provide virtualization services. Programs managed by the operating system emulate the ISA of virtual hardware, also called hosted virtual machine. See, this is called hosted. Type 2 is called hosted. What is the major difference? Type 1 and type 2 hypervisor. Type 1 is called native virtual machine. Here this is called as hosted virtual machine. In type 1, directly ISA is interacting with the hardware. Okay, here there is one more layer called operating system layer which has been introduced. Okay, and diagrammatically also you have hardware, OS, VMM, above that different VMs. Okay, in the previous type 1 hypervisor you have hardware, VM and VMM. Okay, no operating system. Okay, this is the major difference between type 2 and type 1 hypervisor. Okay, you do remember this diagram and the difference between type 1 and type 2. Hello, you could able to hear me, right? Why this presentation audio is off? It is showing. 1 second. You can see the slide now. Actually,
Yes,
I'm
ma'am.
getting. Yeah, fine. Yeah. Okay, moving on to the next topic. You got to know what is an hypervisor. The next component is VMM, right? So you should know like what is VMM. Anyways, by functionality, I have already defined what is virtual machine monitor and what are the roles of VMM. Okay, so we should know the major components or main modules which involved in VMM. Okay, virtual machine monitor. So under VMM, like here the main modules are dispatcher, allocator and interpreter. Okay, there are three major modules: dispatcher, allocator and interpreter. Okay, so what is the function of this dispatcher? Function of this dispatcher is entry point of VMM, entry point of virtual machine monitor. reroutes the instructions issued by the VM instances. See, on top of virtual machine manager, there will be a different virtual machines or nothing but guest which is going to perform its independent task, right? So these VM instances, we are going to call these as VM instances. So the dispatcher is going to reroutes the instructions issued by the VM instances. Okay, and it is the entry point of VMM. So the functionality of allocator is deciding the system resources to be provided to the VM. Okay, what resources needs to be provided? Okay, which is going to decide the system resources to be provided to the VM. Okay, invoked by dispatcher. Invoked by dispatcher. Allocator is going to be invoked by the dispatcher. Okay. So when the instructions are rerouted by the dispatcher, that invocation is going to be given to the allocator. Okay. So the functionality of interpreter is, it consists of interpreter routines. Okay. Interpreter routines executed whenever a VM executes a privileged instructions. Executed whenever a VM executes a privileged instruction. So privileged instruction is your ring 0. Okay. Highly sensitive instructions. Okay. Then trap is triggered and the corresponding routine is executed. There will be a trap, hardware trap. Okay. It is like a flag, setting the flag 0 or setting the flag 1. Okay. A trap is triggered, and whenever there is a privileged instruction which start executing, a trap is triggered and corresponding routine is executed. Okay. It consists of different interpreter routines. Interpreter routines are nothing but your functionalities. Okay. Different functions. Okay. So VMM consists of allocator, dispatcher, and interpreter. Okay. This is the diagrammatical representation of VMM. So you have a virtual machine manager. Okay. So you have a virtual machine manager. This is a module of VMM which comprises dispatcher, allocator, and interpreter routines. Okay. So dispatcher is going to act as a entry point to this VMM. Okay. Once the dispatcher invokes, it in turn invokes the functionality for the allocator. Okay. So in turn, the dispatcher is also going to communicate or triggers to the interpreter routines. Okay. So the interpreter is going to have a privileged instruction set. Okay. And this dotted line depicts ISA, instruction set architecture. Okay. So these are the, like, this is the like virtual machine instance only. So how this instance has been shown through a controlled by virtual machine manager. So you should know the components of VMM, allocator, dispatcher, and interpreter routine. So what are the main criteria of VMM? Equivalence. You should know what is equivalence. Equivalence is nothing but executing directly on the physical host. Equivalence is, we are talking about virtual machine, right? Virtual machine is nothing but it is going to recreate the functionalities, correct? So whenever it is going to execute any functionality, it could depict, or directly it could execute as if it is going to be performing its function on the physical host. Its behavior should be in such a way that it should be equivalent to control the execution as if it is going to directly executed on the physical host. Okay, mimic as it is. Fine. Then resource control. Resource control, it should be in complete control of virtualized resources. How resources has been controlled? By using virtualized resources, complete control of virtualized resources. Then efficiency is there should not be any failure, okay, and executed without any intervention from the VMM. A statically dominant fraction of the machine instructions should be executed without intervention from the VMM. Efficiency. Okay, how do you measure the efficiency? So if there is no interference from VMM without any like managing, in case if the failure, okay, VMM has to take care of this, right? Without it's too much of interference, the instructions should be executed without any intervention. Okay, so the major criteria what VMM holds or it does is equivalence, that is mimicking the process, mimicking the application which will be executed directly as it is running on the host. Okay, then controlling the resources, complete control is in the virtualized environment. Okay, then efficiency, without any VMM interference, with least interference, execution should take place without any intervention. Okay, there are certain theorems which has been defined. Okay, Popek and Goldberg, they provided a classification of instruction set, and proposed different three theorems that define the properties that hardware instruction need to satisfy in order to support virtualization. Okay, Popek and Goldberg, they defined three theorems with respect to instruction set architecture. Okay, and also how these instruction set are going to satisfy, okay, hardware instructions with respect to virtualization. Okay, so you will be having instruction set classified into privileged and non-privileged, right? So privileged instructions and control sensitive instructions. Again, it has been classified into privileged and control sensitive. Under privileged, trap if the processor is in user mode, trap. Then control sensitive instructions. We will see these theorems in detail. Theorem 1 talks about, see, if you see this ring architecture, okay, so the outermost layer is non-privileged one actually. Okay, those are running on the user mode. Innermost instructions are running on the supervisor mode. Okay, because they are sensitive instructions. These going to be controlled by someone else. Okay, only the privileged or authorized instruction can be used by privileged mode. Okay, sensitive instructions. So in between sensitive and user instructions, you have one more ring called privileged instruction set. Privileged instruction set. Okay, the major difference is all these rings are separated here. Here there will be an overlap between the sensitive instructions in terms of privileged instruction. Okay, theorem 1. We will see what this theorem 1 tells. Okay. For any conventional third generation computer, they are still in the third generation. Okay, for any conventional third generation computer, a VMM may be constructed if the set of sensitive instructions for that computer is a subset of the set of privileged instruction. So as the second diagram represents, okay, so sensitive instructions are part of a privileged instruction. Okay, that is the theorem 1 inference. Okay, for any conventional third generation computer, if you are using a virtual machine monitor, that can be constructed how, if the set of sensitive instructions for that computer is a subset of privileged instruction. These are the privileged instructions, right? So you can take a part of this privileged instruction as a subset, and these subset are nothing but your sensitive instruction. In this way, you can construct your virtual machine monitor. Okay, that too they are talking about third generation. So then we will move on to the theorem 2. Okay, so here it is recursively virtualizable. It is virtualizable, and a VMM without any timing dependencies can be constructed for it. Theorem 2 talks about a conventional third generation computers is recursively virtualizable if and only if it is virtualizable. A VMM without any timing dependency can be constructed for it. Okay, any of the VMM without any dependent with respect to time can be constructed. Theorem 3 talks about, see here, how the instructions are going to be hypervisor mode. Instructions are going to be interpreted in hypervisor mode. Theorem 3 talks about a hybrid VMM may be constructed, third generation machine, in which the set of user sensitive instructions is a subset of the set of privileged instructions. Okay, so in HVM, hypervised mode, if you take virtual machine mode, more instructions are interpreted rather than being executed directly. Okay, so I'll stop here. We will do the quiz questions. Fine. I have 5 quiz questions with related to virtualization. Okay, and the virtualization reference model and different taxonomy on virtualization. Okay, I'll display these questions. Please try to answer these questions and post it in Google Classroom. You do it by now itself. Okay, anyway, you have time, 10 minutes time you will get. Meanwhile, you have to do this. Fine. And I'm displaying the quiz 4 question. Okay. The first question is, what is virtualization? Then list components of virtualization. Okay. Name the classification of virtualization as per taxonomy. Right. Then what are the different types of system virtualization? You need to just justify it. Para virtualization, full virtualization, so on. These platform can be virtualized. Okay. Please answer these 5 questions and try to upload it now. You have 5 minutes, I guess. Sorry, not 15 minutes. Do it now. You could able to see the questions, right? Please try to answer these questions.